Hello and welcome to another video review for filmandgamecomposers.com. I'm your host for today, Meena Shamaly, and today I will be taking you through Batcat Sample's latest sample library, the Lucky Harp. So if we have a quick look at the product page, or just the Batcat Samples page, so you get the Lucky Harp, sells for $24.99. It's a Celtic harp and runs in the full version of Kontakt. So it needs Kontakt 5.3 or earlier, so it won't work in the free player, and therefore will not load up in your libraries tab. It will load up in the files tab or the quick load tab if you have it set up. So that is not an issue. If you don't have the full version of Kontakt, I don't know what you're waiting for. I say this every video, get the full version of Kontakt, because aside from the bunch of libraries that do work in the full version and require the full version, it's also great for editing behind the scenes. So without further ado, I'll play this little track I wrote with the Lucky Harp to showcase it in the context of how I would use it, or one context, and we'll take it from there. So here we go. This is a track called Returning. So that is our track. As you can see, well, for me, the sample library worked beautifully for this piece. Just, nothing too complicated. Just a piano and a harp. And, yeah, I didn't need to do much with it. But yeah, so let's open up a new instance of Kontakt. And I'll just open it up fresh. So as I said, we can open up from files or we can open up for quick load. So the Lucky Harp. It comes with two patches. One is diatonic and one is chromatic. And diatonic patches, I'll just play them as they are first, as they come out of the box. So see, so the black keys won't work in there, which is pretty. I mean, you still do the diatonic with the chromatic as well, but you could do some really nice glissando, all in key kind of thing. And maybe if you went in the back and transposed it, then you can change which key you go into. Or you could go do something Dorian with it. Dorian, yes. So this is what it sounds like coming straight out of the box. So it comes in on the interface with controls for attack, release, a little EQ boost on the high end, and reverb. So I'll just put on just listen to the attack and decay and release. As it comes, the release is pretty long. Is almost the maximum, as it would be for Harp, I believe. If we put it down, we could go. Put it up a little bit. Let me actually load up the chromatic, because diatonic will drive me crazy trying to play in other keys. So with the release, or we can do this with the attack. So if we release a little bit. So if you're more sound design kind of things, even release it more. So it kind of doesn't sound like a harp anymore. So we'll put it back and. Real harpists are probably listening to me now and just cringing at how unharp-like I'm playing. I do apologize. I've never had to write for a real harp, so when I do, I promise my harp writing will get much better. You'll probably cringe and listen to the track as well, thinking you're doing all these unharp-like things, but that's just fine. There's a couple of ways I think of composing. There's composing that imitates real. Well, at least with samples, as far as samples are concerned. There's composing that imitates real playing techniques in real life, and then composing where you just use the tools and kind of go in your own direction, regardless of how real it sounds. So that's sort of what I did. I know very well that that's what I'm doing, so I think that excuses me. Harp players are like, no. Anyway, so you get a reverb in here. So it's a pretty nice impulse. It's an impulse, a custom impulse included by the Bad Cat guys. This is it right here. It's just called Lucky Harp IR. So what we're gonna, and you can change the amount, of course. So it's very kind of far away. And if you really wanted to kind of push it back, go to the back, hit the wrench, and that's a send effect, so it's not really going to go back any further. So you could put it as an extra reverb. Just get the dry right down as an insert. If you really want to push it back in the room, but that's fine. Don't really need to do that. And then you can change how long or short the decay is. So this is. So this kind of puts it in a smaller room. We can get the decay really going. So this would be really nice for those really fantasy kind of scores that you might want to do. So if I turn off the reverb, we'll look at the... So this is a little EQ boost. Now, if you'll notice, some of the background noise also kind of increases. And this is a point I spoke with Marcus from Bad Cat Samples about. I said, well, the noise is kind of there. And there is a point when you're denoising samples where it starts to interfere with the character of the samples, or any audio file for that matter. And this is a problem that's inherent in any sample library. So it was one of those things that you really couldn't avoid. But on the plus side, it does give it the air of a more live recording. So if I put it up a little bit. Which is fine. And once you put a bit more reverb on it as well, that noise doesn't matter as much. So yeah, I had to point it out, so you know that you're getting that. But it's fine. I mean, I'm not sitting there thinking, oh my god, what is this? I think... for what it is, it's pretty great. So yeah, I suppose that covers pretty much everything in the library. But maybe what I'll do is, for a little bit, is tune it down and up and see how it goes. So tune it down to an octave down. Maybe mess with the attack. So you can do that, or maybe put it down even further. Starts to sound a little bit like the resonance with the attack anyway. Put the reverb down a little bit. Starts to sound a bit like the lower note plucking of a cello. Or maybe a double bass, but if I put the release down. If you want. I mean, one thing you could do is, I'll just try this. This is just for the sake of trying, all right? we could put in just a bass preset on guitar rig. So bass amp. So you tune it right down to -24, 2 octaves down, and hey, the Lucky Harp is now bass. Why not? If I just put on something else. Just some presets from here. And the reason it takes pretty well to this is because there are 6 round robins anyways. So anytime you're playing a key, it's cycling through 6 round robins, so it makes it sound pretty natural. Which these days, if you're making a percussive sample library and there's no round robins, it's kind of short of the standard now, because you're going to see straight through it that it's a sample. So yeah, we started off with a harp, and now we're in a in a bass. Why not? So, and maybe we'll just add in a couple of different effects. Where are we at? Just to play around with it. Just go from reverbs and delays. Something like this. Put in the reverb as well. Something like this. So I'm just playing some. Ooh, should have put it in So, you know, really good, well recorded samples take well to effects. But yeah, that's just that's just some messing around. But all in all, conclusion, as the Batcat samples standard has been in my reviews for them, they have consistently delivered a great product that sounds good. It sounds well recorded and is very usable. And because it's recorded dry, you can kind of fit it into anything without issue if you know how to mix. And I mean, there's a reverb included, which is an extra thing. I mean, that's what I did in the track. I didn't use any external reverb because I just wanted to show you, hey, this is the harp as it is, as it comes. And yeah, great bang for the buck. You get a really well recorded instrument for $25, And I don't think there's anything more. I mean, I've shown you what it is, and you have the ears to discern for yourself. So I hope you found this review informative and enjoyable. And I suppose I will see you in the next one. So catch you later.